Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another JP's Chalk Talk session. This channel is all about connecting, streaming, and delivering when it comes to live streaming, or what some might call webcasting. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome. Have previously viewed one of my vlogs or videos, thank you for coming back. Glad to have you. Remember to hit the like button if you find today's video helpful. What does technology from the airplane manufacturer, the Boeing company, and a live streaming video web player have in common? Well, today's guest is Joe Ward, who is CEO of Edge Video, who will be showing us firsthand a new type of video player they have developed that brings together key technology from the Boeing company, including AI, or artificial intelligence, and their video experience to introduce what I call the new age or next generation of video players. So let's talk to Joe right now. Hey, Joe, great to have you with us today in this Chalk Talk session. Actually, it's the 30th episode, so welcome.
Thank you very much, John. I really appreciate you having me on. It's fantastic to be here on this beautiful sunny afternoon in Europe.
Absolutely. Yeah, and recently you just transitioned and moved to over in the Netherlands or that vicinity?
Yeah, so we're setting up over here. There's some great opportunities over here, and I got a lot of family here, so kind of get to choose where we live. And still have a US headquarters and operations in Washington State. So where the original Edge video networking technology came from with Boeing, nearby there. So yeah, very pleased to be here, and thanks again.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, maybe just take a moment just to kind of give a quick background for the audience of your background and maybe a little bit about Edge Video before we jump into the discussion.
Yeah, sure. So, I've been working in the tech industry for a long time. I started out as a network engineer and transitioned to becoming a serial entrepreneur, but always with a focus on networking businesses. So I came across this opportunity back in 2015 when I was working in some video entrepreneurial sort of ventures, looking at this concept of networking and edge networking, edge computing. Ended up buying an IP portfolio and research from Boeing, which makes edge computing function. And we now own the IP and the patent portfolio for that. But I wanted to build something that was going to be completely extraordinary when it comes to live searching. So my background is network engineer turned entrepreneur, and now I've built a product with this research that we built that we bought from Boeing.
That's fantastic. That's in fact, when we talked, or when Joe and I originally talked, and you mentioned Boeing and everything, I was like, that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty interesting. You wouldn't think, coming from an aerospace or type company, being that on the forefront of some of the technology pieces, but they are.
Yeah, I mean, they were building something quite unusual. They were building a fly-through rendering engine, and the new Boeing Dreamliner back then, they were trying to sell it, and so they just needed to be able to visualize it. And so the same problems we have in edge computing now, they had back then, which is this ability to be able to have a large number of components all communicating in real time. And they needed to be able to have this a network that would have no central point of failure and no choke point because of the sheer amount of volume of data that was coming in from all of those components. And so the challenge was to build something that could scale, and then it could also self-heal and self-organize, and the broadcast channel would stay up. And so what better environment to build than a live video streaming player that could do all these applications that could self-heal and self-organize, so that you could keep communicating with the other players and not break. And the fact that we own the IP and that have been challenged and survived and is so strong, it just makes our world really exciting, but it's quite unique.
Absolutely.
Very unique.
No, absolutely. No, it is. Absolutely. Totally. I totally agree with you. That's it kind of leads us maybe to the next part or our topic or the discussion. And starting us off, one of the challenges we're seeing is for the users that are connecting with live video, with the growth that we've seen over the past year, especially with the pandemic and things that have gone on and driven. And we saw the growth already in live streaming, as you mentioned, in video, but obviously accelerated a lot of different activities. And there's the challenges we see with users of trying to, connecting with all these apps and searching for certain content that is unique to their interest and what they want to do, right? And that's true for live video. That's something that you guys are trying to address, where we jump into the kind of the edge of the product we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, we are. And it's the most exciting thing that you could ever imagine, because the users that you're talking about are trying to find interesting things, and that there's interesting things out there. That there's thousands upon thousands of live streams going on right now. But how do you know if something's interesting for you right now? And live streams is way more interesting than video on demand. Video on demand has its place, but the most valuable assets on the internet, in my mind, and others I've spoken to have agreed that live video is the most valuable. Absolutely. It's the most valuable in sports. It's the most valuable, in financial markets. It's obviously in video calls, but it really is a big deal. But how do you find it? I mean, how do you find something that's interesting to you? And then what happens if you do find something? You find a channel, but then you don't know what's going to be live on that channel later. Right. And so so we've ended up with building this Edge video player on this Edge networking technology.
That's fantastic.
It's unbelievable, because it's the only player that we know of that can increase sales and reduce costs, because it's a network that's getting smarter and smarter and cheaper with more viewers. And so the central server model, like the challenge that Boeing had, people have with CDNs these days, is all these live streams coming into a central place and being redistributed. Well, what if the players themselves, in our case, could talk to each other, share artificial intelligence, share video streams, and tell you what's in it? And so we're building we built the platform that comes to you. For example, behind me, I just got a notification up here on the screen, and I'm just going to call that up. And what's happened is that the screen behind me, you can see that was not playing anything a second ago. And I got a notification saying that there was someone live on the World Poker Tour channel. That was interesting to me. I got no apps installed, but it was someone I was interested in. And so the system knows what's in the video in real time and live. And so, and we're working within a 90-second window too, with the buffering. So we can do some cool stuff. And so, so I'm looking forward to showing it to you.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, so here you can see this is the live search player. So this is currently running the World Poker Tour. And we've got another player running over here with another customer. And so what we're doing here is that we're saying, okay, this is who's coming up next, up the top. Can you see that? And then this is who is on the channel. So this is Darwin, and this is John Daly, and this over here is Dan Golf, and this is on another channel, and the list goes on. But what happens, for example, there's like the other day I was listening to it, and it was like Lynn Gilmartin. So here, you can see here, I'm just going to pause it on her for a second, but I just typed in search, and you'll notice that, for example, I'll just try it again just so that you can hear it, and hopefully you can hear my keyboard. It's as soon as I pressed enter, her face was live. And so you can search in the live stream and find the people that you're interested in. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the bell notification, and where it says here in focus, it's now telling me, okay, that she was just live, or is live now, and then it's going to give me a bell notification when she's live. And so the list just gets better and better. So I just did a search here for Mike Sexton. Okay, so you're going to say, oh, there's Mike Sexton. Okay, so I just did a text search in a box, and boom, it drops me in where he's live. And it's as simple as that. And so we can do all the AI tagging and corrections. But what it does, John, is it opens up a whole new world of possibilities, increasing the revenues and reducing the costs. So increasing the revenues, how? Because we know what's in the video, we can go out and tell people. We can send push notifications to phones. We can do, mobile phone accompanying apps for smart TVs. We can connect it to the Twitter account. So, for example, here is that, okay, so this is, Greg Mayer, the Fossil Man. Okay, so we're going to click on Greg. Let's go through. So it's now telling us who is live on that World Poker Tour channel. Okay, so it says Greg Mayer, 2004 World Series of Poker Tour. And so now I'm going to click on Greg, and now I can follow him. And so he's got 25,500 followers. So now we can connect that to his Twitter account, and when he's live, the system can automatically tweet on his behalf and say, "Hey, I'm live now on the World Poker Tour," and boom, it comes back. And so
Wow.
this is just a whole new range, a whole new world of possibilities. In a different configuration here, for example, this is the Sky News feed, and here you can see we've got a small number of screens connected, which is 5. But you can see here this edge number, which says 94%. That 94% means only 6% of this video is being streamed from the server. So when I was telling you before about how the system can increase sales and reduce costs,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're talking about here. Is that the edge can take the load off the server and restream it for 1/10 of the price. And so
That's wow.
that's the combination. So you can configure it in all these different ways. And so why does it get smarter and cheaper on the edge? Because the player has the lightweight code in it that
Right.
does the work, that does the AI, that learns and sends the learning files to each other. It sends updates to each other. And so it's getting more and more exciting over time.
Absolutely. I think what's interesting about this is and that's one of the challenges we saw both on the broadcaster. We were talking about the challenges between the user or the audience and connecting through a variety of different devices, being, kind of inundated with a lot of different applications now to connect to these live videos people they're interested in following. For the broadcasters, trying to figure out how do we pull this in from a live delivery, get our audience more engaged, provide some options for them to be able to kind of just pursue without putting additional overhead on them, on complexity of installing another app on the phone, TV. It kind of lists, and it's we're kind of generating a lot of the overhead on the user to kind of engage and participate when they want to, as far as the opt-in goes. So this is really interesting, and pulling in the social media. So I think this is, and for you guys for Edge Video, in terms of this player, you also have the background and experience of not only just from the player perspective, but also from a content delivery, video delivery type network that you've also built as part of your product offering.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And when I flick back to this Sky News feed over here, and you can see that 94%. That's just the Edge CDN in action. And I want to point out here too that our system being on the edge is actually on the edge. So the code is in the player. So it's not as a site that's nearby. It's actually on the true edge.
Absolutely. That makes a big difference. But I think that's kind of what we've been talking about this past year, and a couple other conversations I've had some other CDN type players in the industry, or content delivery type video edge networks, is talking about how do we deliver this as close to the users as we can get, right? And provide.
Yes, absolutely. That was key. That was key for us, John, is we had to be right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, so in the option for this player, for the broadcaster side, and those that are generating live video streams or content, you can also take the player and use this with other networks outside of the normal, like if they choose, they already have an existing agreement, like with another CDN provider out there.
Yeah, good point. I mean, sometimes the CDN provider's doing a good job, and and so be it. And so, yes, we can save the money. But in this particular case, the other channel that we have running here is actually running another CDN here. Mm-hmm. So this is a mix, and so this is someone else's CDN, and then back over here, this is ours. And so we can go both ways.
And I think there's an advantage of when you have kind of the funnel approach. I look at it from an operator, from a customer perspective, is that it's actually a good thing if working with you as not only providing the player but also providing the backend infrastructure, right, as a service in
Yeah.
terms of the edge delivery, video delivery, which really has an advantage of optimizing the experience that you want to ensure that when you are doing the live streams.
That's exactly right. I mean, it is a either or scenario, so you can choose, whether you want to save the money, or if you're already in a contract, then we can just help you increase your sales. But the increasing of sales is we are targeting double
Right.
on live video streams, on publicly available live streams, not subscriptions. We're targeting double because the notifications are so powerful. The desktop notifications, the mobile notifications, and the Twitter notifications, which converts the video publishers' Twitter audience into a gigantic outreach and asset. It's an outreach tool. It's something that can connect to their audience that's beyond the reach normally of the video publisher.
And there's, in terms of the monetization you were talking about with the sales activities, there's also kind of the ad insertion, like you were talking about, right, where you can kind of have this optimization of where maybe there's something that the broadcaster wants to drive.
Absolutely. I mean, this is where this is gold because now we know what's in it. We can do a post roll that says, "Hey, let's put the right ad up." I mean, a great example is we're rolling out Ski TV, and Ski TV has lots and lots of Red Bull content in there. But the very first person that was tagged on the Ski TV network was a guy called Alex Hall, who was sponsored by the Rockstar energy drink, not Red Bull. And Rockstar is a competitor to Red Bull. So,
Yeah.
Red Bull doesn't want to run a video ad if Alex Hall's just been out skiing.
Right.
But the Rockstar guys will. So the smart ads is a whole new world. Analytics we haven't even gotten to yet in terms of those things. So I think that we're onto a very interesting path. And the thing is, John, is we've already got over 160,000 people indexed in the system. So the more players that we add, the more people we know. So there's 160, and those 160,000 people represent a gigantic chunk of who's popular in media. So the network is growing all the time, and so by next week it'll probably be 180,000. So when a new channel comes on board, it's not like that we have to train the system for them and start tagging all their people. We put a new channel up this morning, and it was instantly just picking people up. So it was fantastic.
That's fantastic. Well, and I think that's kind of the beauty of at least the upcoming we've talked about from an AI or machine learning, right? And having that better intelligence in terms of some capabilities and having that, and that's something that you guys have kind of, like you've mentioned already before, have really kind of pioneered in this one area of the player is building better. It's kind of what I said in my opening intro is, it's kind of the next generation or new age of these players of where we're really trying to integrate more intelligence, if you will, in terms of the content it's now sharing with the user that's watching online.
Absolutely. I mean, here's a world where AI has been around for years.
Mm-hmm.
Facial recognition, speech recognition, speech to text indexing, all of these things are already available. We didn't need to invent that. What we needed to do was to put those apps on our network and leverage the Edge network, and then just start building up these indexes. So we built some fantastic search technology on the platform and onto the network. And so the Edge is doing the majority of the work, and then the servers are literally just building up a bank of indexes of people and other things so that we continue to get smarter.
That's fantastic. So if people want to learn more about the player, how should we connect the audience here to kind of get them engaged to learn more? What would be the best approach for them to go? Obviously, go to the website, obviously, but is there any other?
Yeah, I mean, there's so go to the website, which is edgevideo.com. You're one of the first interviews that we've done, and we're only just starting to talk to customers today, which was a fantastic call too.
Fantastic.
And so if you have the need to contact us, you can just email me, joe@edgevideo.com, and I'll happily put you in the right direction. We are looking for those publishers at the moment that have, that $5 to $10 million in revenue or more, and that they want to double their revenues. And so they're the use cases that we're very focused on right now. But look, we found an opportunity today for over 100 channels. A few weeks before that, it was like 400 channels. So we're seeing some phenomenal opportunities, and everyone wants the same thing: is they just want to be able to connect with their audience, and they want to know what's inside their video, and they would just want to increase their sales and reduce their costs.
I think that's a good recipe for kind of where we need to get to, right? So it's I think that's kind of like where we want to absolutely. Well, Joe, thank you for your time today, and this has been fantastic. For everybody that's watching, we're going to put some links. I'll put some links in the description, and make sure that you have the connection to go to the website. We'll make sure and reference for Joe to be able to reach out to him and where he can properly navigate those inquiries. And if you are interested, if you are a publisher that, as Joe kind of rightly pointed out, reach out to these guys. I think this is actually very interesting to look at this as the next wave of services. And I'm actually pretty excited. And when Joe originally showed me this video, his demo, and I was like, this is very, very interesting. It's something that I've, myself from an operator and customer perspective, have often at times looking at different ways we can provide more value for the end user when they're watching live.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to share it with you. I've been in tech for a long time, and I haven't seen anything more exciting than this before, let alone be involved in building it.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, thank you for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, John. It's really nice of you to have me on.
I want to thank Joe Ward today for his time and contribution in sharing the Edge Video Player, giving us a demo, talking about their services. Really enjoyed it, and I appreciate his contribution and also the opportunity that we could bring this demo and video to you today. We'd like to hear your feedback. If you have any tidbits of thoughts to share, please comment. If you're new or have been in this space for a time as a professional or operator, the goal of this channel is to collaborate, learn, and explore together as we talk with experts in the space. Check out new tech or just connect with creators or content producers. So please subscribe today if you haven't done so already. Well, stay safe, stay well, and we'll talk to you in the next session.